Both sides going! How about that one?
That's our new leaders right there.
Big Silly!
University of Montevallo, 24-96.
The University of Montevallo wins its third straight title.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into this episode of the Rapala We Are Collegiate Bass Podcast. Today being joined by Peyton Harris and Dalton Head for number one ranked University of Montevallo. There towards the end of January, they got the victory at Lake Murray for the Bassmaster College Series. Had a two-day total of 43 pounds, 12 ounces to get the win there. Peyton, we'll start with you right here. Just tell us, being able to start the year in January, first major tournament, or one of the first major tournaments for you guys, especially there on the Bassmaster College Series, to start off with the victory. That's got to feel pretty good to be able to kick off the season.
Yeah, it was awesome. We've kind of struggled the last 2 years, like getting off to a rocky start in the spring, and then we're having to bounce back from that. But to go down there this year and be able to get a win and get a hot start to the season is awesome. And go ahead and get qualified for a national championship and everything. Get a hot start in the team of the year race for that and everything is it's awesome, and it gets you hot and it gets you fishing good and it gets you in a good mindset to continue out the rest of the spring.
Dalton, we'll talk a little bit more later about the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia and how the team's doing, but one thing that we always talk about with teams that have a lot of success, and y'all included over the years, is these teams are receiving contributions from everybody. It's not like a two-angler group is carrying said school for an entire season and earning all of their points. For you guys, that holds true as well. Last year, or maybe 2 years ago, I might have my dates wrong, but y'all got a major win, I believe, in Tennessee, and we had you guys on talking on the podcast about that. Now we've got you on this year in January over at Lake Murray. Just your thoughts as well to be able to start the season with a victory and contribute to the team. What's that mean to y'all?
It means a lot to us, you know. I mean, like Peyton said, we've had a few, really rough, start off to the season, past couple years, and it means a lot. It gets the ball rolling. You can look last year whenever we won the national championship in Cherokee back-to-back, everybody just started smashing them, catching them every tournament because it just, got everybody fired up and they wanted to win too. So, it means a lot to us and it means a lot to the team.
Let's talk about the fishing there at Lake Murray. Like we said, the end of January, the ACA's been there before, hosted the Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops just a couple years ago. Different time of the year. That was the end of May. This now late winter, early spring, more winter than spring, though, when y'all were there. Peyton, talk a little bit about what y'all were looking at in terms of the way that the lake set up and the way the fish were acting that week.
Yeah, so we started well before we even got there, just doing map studying and just looking at places on the map, and we had a bunch of stuff highlighted before we even got there that a lot of it ended up working out, and it was just preparing before the event, and then going into the event. I mean, we ran the entire lake in practice, and we tried to cover as much ground as we could, and we were able to dial in to one specific area of the lake, and or section of the lake, I should say, and just we were fishing deep, and but I mean, so is a lot of the field, and it just come down to finessing and being methodical with everything you did, and boat positioning and paying attention to every little detail that you possibly could, because those fish were pressured. It seemed like most of the field was in that same area, so just basically having to outthink and outsmart everybody else, and finesse and slow down and be methodical when everybody else was not.
The herring, something different over there that those lakes have. Some of the in South Carolina, particularly at Lake Murray, bait fish that those fish are targeting. Dalton, talk to us a little bit about if y'all use that to your advantage to target the fish, and even how the herring maybe dictate the way that the bass set up. It is different than what you're used to in your traditional, shad or other bait fish that fish target throughout the years. These herring can be kind of stingy. If y'all targeted them, kind of talk a little bit about how that played into what you guys were doing.
Yeah, it was 100%. I mean, I felt like on those really good places, if you started on them in the morning, if it had a good group of fish there was a reason why they were there. And I felt like the herring were kind of blasting through really early in the morning, probably even before we got to the spot. But the fish were set up still like anticipating that herring was going to swim by like where they were. So I think, and with our bait selection too, everything we threw was very like herring related, herring looking, and you know, it ended up working out.
And if I remember right, last year, as y'all mentioned, got the win on Cherokee. Deep, clear, sets up a little different, doesn't have the herring like Lake Murray does. But Peyton, talk a little bit, y'all are targeting those fish. Sounds like you were offshore using your electronics. It's also something that y'all did last year to get the win. If I recall talking to you guys, that was something that y'all felt was key, was being able to see them on your electronics, being able to target and catch those fish, doing some more of that at Lake Murray. Talk a little bit about how that played into your pattern.
Yeah, we were using forward-facing sonar and targeting these deep schools of fish set up on pieces of structure down there, whether that be a stump or a brush or some rock down there, and it played into what we were doing just from the fact of you were getting a lot of these fish were wanting to follow the bait and not commit to it. So using that to our advantage and seeing what the mood the fish were in, because some of them would bite immediately, some of them you just had to do a bunch of different things with your bait to be able to get these fish in to bite because they were so pressured and they were so smart that you couldn't just willy-nilly just throw and get a bite. You had to pay attention because their mood changed throughout the day the whole time, and just staying up and then paying attention and noticing those changes and being able to adjust. And that's really the advantage that forward-facing sonar gave us, is being able to see how they're reacting to the bait on every cast that you make.
With the forward-facing sonar, like the Live Scope, Garmin's Live Scope, you see a lot of different baits come into play. Some companies even making baits specifically for those tactics. Dalton, talk a little bit about what y'all were using as you were taking a look at Live Scope and targeting these bass. You know, the traditional jig head and a minnow-style worm. Is that what y'all were doing, or were you mixing it up? Kind of tell us what was key players for y'all in terms of baits and presentations while you were looking at these fish.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, we caught a few on a jig, a couple on a shaky head, but most of them came on either like a glide or like the Mickey rig style bait.
Textbook patterns out there that time of the year. Lake Murray, late January. Good start to y'all. We're talking to Peyton Harris and Dalton Head from the University of Montevallo. They're ranked number 1 currently in the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year, presented by Abu Garcia. These two anglers got the win at the first Bassmaster College Series event of the season, earning valuable points towards that School of the Year race, of which Montevallo is looking to continue to make collegiate bass fishing history. As last year, they became the first team to ever win that title 3 straight times. This season, the opportunity to win the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year, presented by Abu Garcia, for a 4th straight time. The only team to ever do it 3 times. Another victory would them obviously make them the only team to ever have done it 4 times. Peyton, real quick, January, middle of the season, at that time about 6 months left until a winner is going to be crowned for that Bass Pro Shop School of the Year, presented by Abu Garcia. Talk a little bit about how important that was for the team to kickstart this second half of the season with the victory, and then your next highest finishing team was also inside the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. We come into that tournament down in some points a little bit, and to be able to go in and have the most points that any school got out of that tournament is big. And the team they showed out, and it seems like they're hot and they're hungry and they're ready to get this thing started and get this try to win a 4th one. And yeah, it was huge for us. We made the points back up, and we're actually able to jump into the lead. So that's just a huge kickstart, and to get the ball rolling like that was awesome.
Dalton, similar question. You know, you guys are in the quest for winning 4 straight, which we'll dive into here in just a little bit. But to have 2 in the top 5, and then I believe it was the next week or within 2 weeks, the next Bassmaster College Series event, Montevallo again had 2 teams inside the top 5. So right there in the span of 2 weeks, earned some really valuable points that's got y'all right now a little over 1,000 points ahead of second-ranked Carson Newman to contribute to the team, a team that we've talked about and we hinted at the beginning that we're any given week, any group of 2 anglers or possibly an angler fishing by themselves could be one of the 2 points earning teams with these double points tournaments. For that to be y'all that week, what does that mean to be able to contribute?
I mean, it means a lot. Whenever you can contribute with, you know, the gang guys we run with, they're all hammers. They're all like really, really good. And, you know, they understand stuff like that because I mean, just sometimes people are just fishing better than others. It's just like sometimes people just get hot and they start understanding it and getting more confidence and stuff like that. So it means a lot to, kind of stand out in a group of guys like at Montevallo because, they're all so good.
Yeah, you bet. Being able to talk to the team over the last couple of years as this run started building up to winning the first title and now in pursuit of what could be the fourth. You hear each time we get a set of anglers on, whether y'all have won a tournament or we're talking about being ranked number one in that Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia, everybody's shooting for that same thing, working as a unit, as a team to be able to go out and have that success. Peyton, tell me a little bit as well there right at the beginning of the year. You talked about it some, earning, like you said, earning the most points of any team at that first event, and I believe did it again the next week at the second tournament. Starting the year right there to earn that many points, there's some schools that haven't earned, y'all earned more points at two tournaments right there to kick off the year than some of the teams in the rankings have earned all season. The significance of being able to earn such a big lump of points right there to go from, like you said, not being in first to now being in that number one spot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge. It's huge for the team. It gets everybody's heads right. You always come in, you come off a break, like the winter break, and everybody's kind of, maybe, and I'm not saying rusty, but a lot of guys hadn't fished any tournaments in a while. So just coming in and getting hot in the beginning is key. And it's just, you got to get the ball rolling, and to do it at the first and second tournament of the year is huge. And it's just, we just got to be able to keep the ball rolling, and we got to keep everybody hot. And there's a big break in the tournaments right now. So we just got to keep everybody on the water, keep everybody fishing good and making good decisions. And if we can keep doing that, we will, I think we can wrap it up. But it's a long way out from right now, so we just got to keep fishing hard.
The main storyline, you guys, as we've said multiple times here at the University of Montevallo, looking to win that fourth straight title for the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. Dalton, what needs to be done as a team going forward here is that race is going to wrap up the early part of June. Several major double points events left, the Triple Points Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops, the ACA's National Championship Tournament, yet still to take place. What do y'all need to do between now and that last points qualifying event of the season to be able to secure that fourth straight victory and continue to build on the legacy that you guys have achieved so far?
Yeah, I just feel like we don't need to get too comfortable. Like we might, 1,000-point lead, it's not really that much anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like and somebody can get first, second, one of these double points events, and then it's like bang, like they're way up. It can happen that quick. So it ain't over till it's over. I'm just gonna say that. Like hopefully all of us will stay in it, won't get too comfortable, and we'll be able to pull off with the win, hopefully.
Yeah, a lot of truth to what you said with the ACA's National Championship being triple points. That tournament, we've done the math the last couple of years, is that has been in place for this is the second or third season now that we'll have had triple points. And you're looking at a scenario where if anybody's within about 5,000 to 7,000 points of first place, mathematically they're not eliminated from it. So every point's going to count as the season continues here. Get over to collegiatebasschampionship.com to view all those qualifying events still left on the schedule to count towards the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. Just a few more questions here, and we'll wrap up talking once again with Peyton Harris and Dalton Head. They're from number one ranked University of Montevallo. Peyton, tell me a little bit about what just happened. We've been talking about the current season and what you guys are trying to achieve. Last season, you all achieved collegiate bass fishing history for the first time, being the only team to ever win the title on 3 different occasions. Also added in the fact that was 3 seasons in a row that y'all had claimed the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. Had a pretty cool little shindig. Kind of tell me a little bit about what happened. I believe it was just last week with that ceremony and how the team was honored for their achievements.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an awesome weekend. It was a weekend where we call it Parents Weekend, and we've started doing it. It's the past 2 years now, and it's just a time to honor the guys on the team and show the appreciation for all the guys on the team and all the hard work that we've put in. And it kind of lets the parents come down and get a glimpse of what we do around here. And we do a Parents Weekend fishing tournament with the guys on the team, and it's like a boater or an angler and one of their parents or a grandparent or an alum that come and fish. And then there's a pheasant shoot that we also do. And it's just an awesome weekend with all the guys on the team, just hanging out with everybody and just having fun and honoring all the guys on the team for all the hard work that we put in last year and then are continuing to put in.
Dalton, talk a little bit as we get ready to wrap this up, man. The decision, to be able to go to Montevallo, to make that call, and now to be in the middle of what is being built there. The words legacy could be used eventually when this is all said and done, but what y'all are doing as a team, as a school, and all of these achievements to then have weekends like y'all just discussed where you're honored and just kind of have a chance to sit back and remember what it is that y'all have accomplished. Well, not forgetting what's ahead, as we've talked about today, man. Looking at you going from being a youth angler to now in college, that decision to go to Montevallo, kind of talk a little bit in summary, your thoughts looking back on those moments and the decision that you made to come and how that's worked out so far in your time in college.
Yeah, it was, I wasn't, like at the start of it, like let's go back to high school, and I wasn't big on going to college, and I didn't have really much of a plan, and Peyton called me, and we've been fishing forever, and he was like, dude, you want to go to Montevallo? We can go fish for free. I was like, yeah, I'll go, sure. And it's been a great decision ever since. Like, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made just because made me better as a person. And, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at if I would have just went to work after school. So, but it's a great college, and I'm super excited to be a part of it.
Guys, thanks for taking the time to join us here today on the Rapala We Are Collegiate Bass Podcast. That's been our conversation with Peyton Harris and Dalton Head, members of the number 1 ranked University of Montevallo. Those two gentlemen got the victory at Lake Murray, as we discussed there early on, for the first Bassmaster College Series event of the spring. Best of luck to y'all. Hope to see you out on our trail, and we'll talk to you next time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Ugh, TMI, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink.
Water.
Pull ahead, please. Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's had.
Yeah, throw me in a net BLT, too.
Pull ahead, please.
Calm down. Quit feeding him so much.
Hey, man, I'm trying to, man. If you
If you overfeed him, he's gonna hide under a log.